"Sir, please don't throw that away. I can sell it for a few coins. I want to buy a book." Those were the exact words the stranger heard before he paused, confused, coffee cup in hand, a half-eaten sandwich in the other. He turned to see a boy, no older than 12, thin, dirt smeared on his cheeks, but with eyes that burned not with hunger, but with something far rarer, hope. That was the moment the man decided to follow the boy. Not to frighten him. Not to scold him. But because something in his voice broke open a part of the man's heart that had been shut for decades. 12-year-old Raheem lived in one of the most neglected neighborhoods on the edge of a sprawling city. Narrow alleyways, cracked walls, and the smell of exhaust and rot marked the place he called home. But if you asked Raheem, he wouldn't describe it like that. To him, home was where his mother sat on a broken stool, sewing clothes for pennies. Where the morning sun peeked through the torn curtain and where, each night, he lit a candle to read a second-hand book he'd picked up after days of collecting bottles, cans, and broken electronics. Ever since his father died 3 years ago in a construction accident, Raheem had taken it upon himself to support his mother and continue his studies, no matter how hard it got. He didn't beg. He didn't steal. Instead, every morning before school, he dragged a makeshift cart down the street, collecting recyclables and trash. To some, he was just another slum kid. But to himself, he was a student. A dreamer. A future someone. But dreams are fragile in a world that favors the wealthy. One afternoon, Raheem stood outside a bookstore downtown, his pockets full of coins, his shirt clinging to his sweaty back. He stared at the book in the window, Wings of Hope, The Life of Abdul Kalam. It cost more than he had. Again. As he turned away, he whispered, "Maybe tomorrow." What Raheem didn't know was that he was being watched. Mr. Nathaniel Ross, a quiet man in his mid-60s, sat inside the nearby cafe, his business files untouched. He had seen the boy pass by for 3 days now, always pausing, always counting his coins, always leaving empty-handed. Nathaniel had built an empire in technology. He had all the wealth one could dream of. But what he didn't have anymore was a reason to feel anything, until now. Raheem had become a silent routine in Nathaniel's days. The boy's small hands sorting trash, his smile when he found a working pen, the way he tucked his books under his arm like treasures, all of it stirred memories Nathaniel tried to bury. Memories of his own childhood, growing up in the slums of Birmingham, stealing bread for his little sister, hiding under bridges during the rain, and a mother who whispered, "You'll change the world someday." But he had never given back. Never looked back. So one evening, after Raheem picked up a dented microwave from a dumpster behind a supermarket, Nathaniel rose from his seat and followed. Raheem didn't hear the footsteps until he turned the corner near his home. He tensed. He gripped his bag tightly. Too many kids he knew had disappeared in alleys, sold for parts, or worse. He started walking faster. "Hey," the voice called. "Wait." Raheem broke into a run. But the man didn't chase him. He stopped. "Your book," Nathaniel said, holding up a bag from the bookstore. "You were staring at it for days. I got it for you." Raheem froze. He turned slowly, heart pounding. "Why?" he asked. Nathaniel looked at him, really looked, and said something no one had ever said to Raheem before. "Because I see a spark in your eyes I've seen only once before, in the mirror, a long time ago." From that day, everything changed. But not in the way you might expect. Raheem didn't accept more books right away. He didn't take money. He was proud, stubbornly proud. Nathaniel respected that. So he offered something else. "Let me buy your trash," he said with a smile. "Fair price. Every week." Confused but grateful, Raheem agreed. Each Saturday, the man with the quiet eyes and expensive shoes came to buy Raheem's collected trash. In return, he brought books as bonuses. Soon, Raheem was reading beyond his grade. He began tutoring other children in the neighborhood under a tree with a blackboard Nathaniel donated. The street kids started calling it Raheem's school. His mother wept quietly the first time she saw it. But there were still struggles. Some older boys mocked him, threw rocks at his books, called him a garbage rat. One day, they pushed him into a puddle and tore his notes. Raheem sat in the mud, fists clenched, eyes burning, not with tears, but determination. Nathaniel found him that evening, knees bruised, pride shaken. "Why do they hate me?" Raheem asked. "Because you're rising," Nathaniel replied gently. "And when people don't rise with you, they try to pull you down. Don't let them." Raheem nodded. He never asked that question again. Years passed. The tree school became a tin roof shelter, funded quietly by Nathaniel. More kids joined. Local authorities noticed. A journalist visited, wrote an article titled, "The Boy Who Picked Trash to Educate a Village." Donations poured in. But Nathaniel never let anyone know he was behind it all. Not until the day he passed away, quietly, in his sleep. When his lawyer arrived with the will, Raheem, now 17, was stunned. Nathaniel had left him everything. The house. The books. The funds to build a proper school. And a letter. "Dear Raheem. You reminded me that hope is never dead. You gave me a reason to believe again. Now give that to others. Build. Teach. Lead. And always, dream bigger. Nathaniel Ross." Today, that same tree still stands. But beneath it now is a marble plaque, the Nathaniel Ross School of Hope. And inside, a man in his early 30s speaks to young boys and girls, holding up a battered book about Abdul Kalam. "I was once like you," he tells them, "I picked trash to buy this. But a stranger gave me something far more powerful than money. He gave me belief." And so, the boy who picked trash became the man who picked souls out of darkness. Because someone, once, followed him home. Not to hurt him, but to light the way.